you know how sensitive I get about everything. So if you start talking smack about 2Js,
how unreliable they are.
All right, guys, I wanted to interrupt this real quick to say if you enjoy what we're doing here, I only ask one thing. Hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. It helps us grow and we can keep this thing going. Now, let's get back to the podcast. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. Whoa, Toyota built the best engine ever, and it happened to fall in the hands of people that are not qualified to be boosting it.
One of the greatest engines ever, up to 1,200 horsepower.
Whew, I mean, that's a pretty good number. I think they made like 280 factory.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's just once it's over 1,200 horsepower, I think it falls into a category of...
Quite a few engines have that fall off.
It's not in the top 5.
Would you put it above Godzilla? Not the Japanese one, because for some reason Ford felt the need that they were like, hey, Nissan has this Godzilla, but guess what? They forgot to trademark it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're going to make
so
a
we're
Godzilla.
Talking about the Ford Godzilla. If we're in the over 1,200 range for reliability, oof, the 2J may be more. Yeah, the 2J is definitely more reliable than the Godzilla over 1,200.
More reliable over 1,200.
Under 1,200, I bet you get more runs out of. Oh, I don't know. Under 1,200?
I got like 200 runs out of my...
Yeah, the 2J is probably just overall better than the Godzilla. For racing, the Godzilla, I think because it is such a big, hefty toaster, it's not the best racing engine. In
the Godzilla's defense, I probably went 120 passes without touching the laptop.
Yeah.
Versus...
Our Godzilla...
How many times did you touch the laptop?
Every run.
If there's an oil down, you're one of those where you break it out and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, and we run ours at max effort, peak. Like 5 runs in to owning it. I have like a hair on my head.
And there's nobody that really knows, like, hey, this is the limit. I kind of, stole all the knowledge from Victor. So I got to really leg up there. I tell people I just... tricked Victor into giving me all of his knowledge so I didn't have to struggle through it.
I would say the 2J is a solid engine. Just when you're really making a lot of steam, I don't think they're that reliable.
No, I would agree with that. I think in a 3,200-pound street car trying to go like a 720 or a 730, they're
leaning on it.
You get like 4 runs out of them. And every time somebody leans on it that hard, they always hit me with the, it only did that. I'm like, listen, you're not trying to convince me I own a 2J. I just know where the limit is.
I know. I mean, the billet ones are probably a little better, but...
They're a little better, but you're still just so much... Like, horsepower per cylinder is so high at that point.
Yeah.
Like, the Hondas, they just blow those things apart.
I know.
Every other pass.
Really, if you look at it, like, there's a lot of engines that make a ton of power. Like the rotary guys that I've been racing lately, their cars do make insane power, but I think they change their engine every handful of runs. Yeah. And then the Honda guys change their engines a little less. The 2J guys change their engines a little less. And then us big block guys, for the most part, don't have to change our engines.
Yeah, that's where it comes down to is, like, I look at it as, like, passes per pulling out the engine. Yeah. And I am trying to maximize that because
I know you are.
It doesn't give me any joy to pull the engine out. It's like it's less fun than people think.
Honestly though, I think you need to blow your shit up a little more often. I was looking at how many times you've blown your engine up because I keep a log. And it needs to happen a little bit more. I mean, it's like, do you blow your car up enough? I'm not sure.
There's like a level. It's
I'm
like
starting to not trust you.
Up here, not blow it up a lot. You're right here, blow it up like your engine's like pretty frequently, and then James is here, blows it up every pass, and somehow makes it to every round, even though it blows up every pass.
There's a balance. There's a balance to be had. Just at FL2K, I mean, Jackson, it's like, oh yeah. Well, I was just like, hey, why are your heads off? Because it's pretty interesting to see someone just pull their heads off right after the run. He's like, yeah, it needs a head gasket. I mean, the guy's just so casual about tearing his engines up.
He back blew up engines. He crashed the 240, got off the thing and got into McFlurry. Like, they drove him from the accident to his other car.
Yep.
And he blew up.
I don't think the McFlurry one was his fault. The McFlurry one is probably more my fault. But still, I mean, it's just his foot was pressing the gas pedal, so that's true.
He probably had some warnings that something was happening, I would imagine.
I'll be honest. When we fired up the Godzilla to go make that run, there was a significant amount of water coming out of the right exhaust. Like it had pooled some water. And I was like, yeah, this might be it. And we knew if the Godzilla didn't survive FL2K, we knew we're done.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think when you did that motor, everybody was like, you should have done a Coyote. Everybody that knows racing really well was saying Coyote, but everybody that like wants something cool was probably saying Godzilla.
Yeah, I just wanted that title, you know, Godzilla, Bruno Lanco, Fox Body, like sick. Coyote, it's kind of cool. So at least we tried it, and now we can go the Coyote route.
Yeah, I think it was fair. And I think you gave it a fair shake. I'm sure a lot of people will be like, you should have, ran it for 6 years and worked out all the kinks and
I know.
Worked on it every weekend.
750s on it. I have the Godzilla record on accident. I mean, it's just I did not plan to go that fast. It just worked really good in the Fox Body.
Yeah. And
it had the best transmission ever.
I think that's what also people
chassis and
don't realize.
Transmission is pretty dialed. So, I mean, it did good. It doesn't like running that hard for that long.
It's fair. I mean, that was pretty hard. They built it for what was it, the 250s?
I think F250s and like work vans. So, you know what the red line is on a stock Godzilla?
No.
It's like 6,200 or 6,300, something really low.
That would actually be a cool motor, though, in like a Crown Vic. Like if they brought back the Crown Vics, and they're like, hey, they're all getting Godzillas.
Let me look up the stock rival.
That would actually be kind of cool. I could see
7.3 Godzilla.
Or like if you had like a limo, maybe. You needed some low end torque to carry around like a family of people.
A stock like a Crown Vic with a Godzilla combo would be sick.
That would be like a great Marauder comeback. Is a Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I miss my Marauder big time.
That would be a good comeback.
Well, it doesn't say what the red line is.
Probably like 5,800.
It's something atrociously low. Like
a diesel.
And, that's why I think we were pulling the valve seats out of the heads and stuff. It's just they hate their life when they get up there.
Yeah, and the oil pump was clearly not set up for high RPM. I think that's part of the issue.
I don't know if I've even looked at an oil pump on one. I mean, that's out of my league.
It's like chain-driven deal.
Yeah, I kind of remember. It was on the front of the, right.
Yeah, that's questionable. But most Coyote guys, a lot of Coyote guys going sixes go dry sump anyways. Like Brett's car is dry sump.
Brett's car is dry sump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brett's car is dry sump. His old car, the new owner now has, is dry sump.
Oh, really?
They just switched it over.
McFlurry's about to be wet sump.
I'm a wet sump guy. Listen.
Yeah?
Mostly because they told me the price of a dry sump. And I quickly became a wet sump fan.
I mean, wet sump's not bad. Like Mullet went 640s wet sump. His big block, like the BBC, was wet sump, and it was great. The only reason that engine broke was because it bent the crank.
Yeah.
Who knows how fast it could have gone wet sump, but now it's dry sump, and it's like there's so many oil lines. It's crazy.
It is kind of a pain in the ass once you do that, and they're probably massive on that car too. And then you have this giant tank. Probably in the front.
There, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a pain in the butt.
14 quarts of oil. Whew. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, well, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti Clips coming up.